What's up, y'all? It's your boy P-Lot, aka the Brick Slinger. And guess what? Your boy got something to say. I've been seeing a couple videos, been a couple of days about a brother named Byron Donald. He is one of the candidates, contenders for the Republican vice president spot. And lately he has been under fire for making a statement using the infamous name Jim Crow. And a lot of the brothers and sisters on the Democratic Party are doing everything they can to quote unquote roast him. Issue is when I see him actually make the actual statement, what he's saying is during the time of Jim Crow. During Jim Crow, black family were together. And not only were they together and they would vote on the conservative side, but they were more likely to vote conservatively. So pretty much within what he was talking about the structure of black families overall. Because right now I can say that he is telling the truth. That when it comes to the reinvigoration, as he would say, of black family, now it seems as if black family are coming more together to a degree. However, House of Representative member, I want to say Hakeem Jeffrey, he really twisted Byron's words by saying that Byron talking about during the black family was better in Jim Crow era, which that's not what he said. And a lot of people are defending, not just defending Jeffrey for saying what will be actually a lie, but it's trying to make it seem as if Byron didn't know what he's talking about. And they'll bring up the fact that he's married to a white woman, and being that he is a Republican, not only just a Republican, but a black Republican, that he should be ashamed of himself to even bring up Jim Crow in the first place because of the history of Jim Crow. But here's my thing. At this point, it's starting to become more ridiculous that people will literally take what you say and not only twist it, but miscomprehend what you say. This brother, Byron Donald, never said that the Jim Crow era was the best era for black family. He never really said that it would been we would that black family was great, was better in the Jim Crow. He was basically saying that in the time we talking about Jim Crow, we talking about a time, especially within the South, where there was segregation deep, and black folks, even if they did had the they legally could vote, it's just that at the time they had a hard time voting when there were so many obstacles to get to. Like, we keep forgetting that the history of black history when it comes to the time of Jim Crow. Not only Jim Crow, but even before Jim Crow. Let's talk about the Great Depression. Let's talk about the Reconstruction. Let's talk about slavery in general. What was the rates of black family? If we really keep it a buck, what Byron Donald said ain't really new. I remember hearing Thomas Sawyer, I hope I said his name right. I remember him saying that it was that the black family was higher at that time compared to black family of today, of the modern time. Even Dr. Umar Johnson made it clear that when even during the time of slavery, black families were together, even despite the fact that they were being sold here and there, left and right. During Reconstruction, black family managed to come back together and just reunite. Reconstruction during the Great Depression. Think about it. If black family were not together at that time, there wouldn't be no Black Wall Street. Think about it. If black family weren't together at the time where black folks was treated the worst, then there wouldn't be a purpose of a civil rights movement or the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we acting as if there were no sign of togetherness in black families during that time compared to modern day time? It seemed like, here's the thing about black families during that era versus black family of now. And during the time of the Jim Crow, during the time of civil rights, during the time of let's say Great Depression, Reconstruction, and Jim Crow, all those three eras were some terrible things, terrible situations. But yet you see black folks coming together, and many people will try to say, well, they didn't have much of a choice. They needed to be married, or they need to stick with their parents. Whatever the case may be, they were more together compared to now. If we want to talk about generational, think about it. Even during the time of Jim Crow, there were black cities. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just any neck of the woods, but like real neighborhoods and stuff like that before they were going down. Think of Rosewood. Think of Tulsa, East St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? All these cities that I mentioned had some type of riot going along. We can bring up Emmett Till all day, every day, but what about Inkwell? Like, let's not just focus on cities that experience some type of riot under Jim Crow, and ignore cities that for some reason never kind of got that type of riot experience, but yet experienced something else. So, to a degree, Byron Doug Donald was right, and Hakeem Jeffrey was wrong for misquoting, miscomprehending what Donald said. Because if we really want to think about it, if we're willing to do the research, we'll find out that even during Jim Crow era, single parent home was like what, 33%. It only raised up to like 61% until 1980. And we're comparing an era where black folks were being lynched, black folks were being shot for nothing, black folks were being tortured for nothing, or based upon somebody else tell them that it's something was happening. Matter of fact, you can go through the history of the South and understand what was going on, but you'll also still find out that even though they were going through what they were going through, there were still black families together. It didn't make them better. It made them stick closer together to know that they need to be together more than anything to fight this fight. Otherwise, there would have been no purpose of the civil rights movement. There wouldn't be no purpose of the Black Panther Party. There wouldn't be no purpose of even Malcolm X making it known for the Nation of Islam, and many other people that contributed to that. So let's not act as if there wasn't any type of process of movements going on in the civil rights in the Jim Crow era. But one thing I will say is that I'm getting really tired of seeing people like Joy Reid's, Lakita James, and even Reverend Al Sharpton, and many other blacks, media, journalists in any shape or form, whether they doing as a part of CNN, MSNBC, or even their own network. They doing everything they can to try to make it seem like this brother was out of line for even bringing up Jim Crow, because that's all they doing. They tired. They're trying to make it seem like, dude, you're wrong for bringing up Jim Crow. You wrong for saying that it was better for black folks in Jim Crow. When clearly that's not what he said. And I salute this brother for standing 10 toes deep on his statement, because nobody could have easily, you know what I'm saying, stand on the things they say like he did. And the reason why they getting at him, because of the fact that he's a black Republican, married a white woman, and he's a contender for vice president for Donald Trump. And he's making, at this point, out of all the contenders, he's making the most noise for a viral clip that has absolutely nothing to do with what folks are talking about. Even the View are showing how stupid they really are, because they know that's not what that dude's saying. I'm not saying don't disagree. I'm saying even if you're going to disagree with what this man said, at least stick to what this man say, as opposed to twisting it and making it sound as if he said something else. That's what's going on with the media right now, that is propagating misquoted conversations and misquoted statements, and then running with it and thinking that people are going to eat it up. Unfortunately, some folks have. But for me, it's a different ball game, because if you really think about it, it just shows you how some people will rather accept a lie than discover the truth. Because the truth of the matter is, Byron ain't said nothing wrong. Byron ain't said anything. Byron did not say anything wrong. He was stating facts. And the fact is, when it came to black families, even the era that was more ridiculous for black folks still managed to be together. Even Kevin Samuel said it, that when it comes to that era, that they had the least, but they still managed to do great things. They still managed to be together. And even if you bring up abuse, domestic violence, domestic abuse, financial abuse, family, whatever, at the end of the day, nobody is saying that should be avoided. But what should be acknowledged is the fact that black families, despite it all, were together. Because we can't say that about we can't say nothing about that when it comes to Black Lives Matter at this point. When one of their principal doesn't support black families like that. It doesn't. And that was the movement that tried to push George Floyd out like that. This made I know this may be too much to some, and it may be even the words I'm saying right now can be misquoted, misscrutinized, miscomprehended, or whatnot. But at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and um, we're seeing lies being glorified and truth being demonized, and yet this is what the Bible said that was going to happen. So when it's all said and done, if you're not, like I say, if you're going to disagree with somebody, at least stick to what they said, not just what you thought you heard. And they even go for Sunny Hostin, who tried her very best to do that to Killer Mike, Coleman Hughes, and even Charlemagne. It doesn't matter at this point, because when you see black faces like Joy Reid, Sunny Hostin, Al Sharpton, even Charlemagne, who plays plays both ways. When you see people trying to beat up this guy for saying that even under the era known as Jim Crow, black families were together, and they rather for him to be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I was wrong for bringing that up. I didn't mean to. Instead of him saying that, they like, why would you even, dude, you tripping? No, y'all tripping. Every last one of y'all that has a hard time comprehending what this man said is the problem, especially within the black community, because you would think educated folks would not play these games unless they the one that's being the coon and the Sambo and trying to make it seem as if any black person that's a Republican and a conservative are straight Sambos and Uncle Toms, which is a stupid thing if you know what the story behind Uncle Tom is, and Sambos and sellouts, when the black folks in the Democratic Party don't even understand that when it comes to the Democratic Party, that's where the KKK comes from. If we want to keep it a buck. Let's keep this in mind. The Democratic Party is one of the reasons why there is a such thing as Jim Crow. If we keep it a buck. If we keep it a buck, and then let's also keep this in mind, historically speaking, during the time of slavery and even after slavery, black folks were Republican. Black folks were conservatives. Right before LBJ. Way before LBJ. But we want to continue to want to see a brother get crucified and persecuted, and all because he said during the time of Jim Crow, black families were together. I tell you what, where black families were together during the feminist movement. How together were black families were together during the feminist movement? How black family were together now during the whole Black Lives Matter movement? How's black family were together during the time where the LGBT, the letter people movement? How's black family together during abortion? If we're so butthurt about Jim Crow, then let's talk about family rates when it comes to era after Jim Crow. That would have been the argument. That should have been the argument. If Jim Crow was a terrible example of black family being together, then let's talk about eras after Jim Crow and how together black folks were. As opposed to taking what Jeffrey said, which he needs to be in the hot seat, not Donald. He's the one that's saying that he's the Van Lathan to Donald's Kanye West. Y'all are taking what this brother said and putting it on this man's face, even though this man never said that black family was better in Jim Crow or would have been better. I don't know what y'all trying to say, but I do know one thing for sure. This is definitely the longest joint I ever did by myself. But here's the truth. The black folks in the Democratic Party, the black folks in the liberal side are tripping hard. And I don't care what they say. I'm willing, even if they try to bring some of their little feelings my way. When it's all said and done, we all know what he said. We all heard what he said. And we all know what he really means to say. And he did not trust his own stuff. He spoke the truth. And then I can tell you like this. If they so mad at this brother for saying that, why don't they go to Dr. Umar Johnson for saying the same thing? And he said it was even in slavery, black family was together. They picking and choosing brothers that's on the Republican side that's saying stuff like this because they don't want to see black folks being Republicans or black folks being conservative or black folks doing the right thing in the first place. It's ridiculous. But you know what? That's just me. If you like what you heard, there's a like button. If you dislike what you heard, there's a dislike button. Comment. Put your 2 cents in. And please, if you're going to disagree, disagree. But as long as you're not disrespectful, you're all right with me. Subscribe. Share this video. Let's continue this conversation. Who knows? This may end up being live. And please get that man under construction. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. This is what it's going to look like. Man under construction. All the digital outlets. Amazon. Spotify. iTunes. Matter of fact, here's a QR code. Scan it if you have to. It may look a little blurry, but like I say, this is what it's gonna look like when you go to going on Amazon. Get it out of Amazon, all right? Here, get a good clear of this. Y'all forgive me, man. I was trying to make sure everybody get a good look. Excuse me, stuttering. Get a clear look of whatsoever. If you can't, just go on Amazon and just type in. Matter of fact, Google it. Go on YouTube. All that. Till then, it's your boy P-Lie, aka the Brick Slinger. As always, continue to sharpen one another. Support the kingdom. Take care and God bless. Laborers.